Man United fans, this one's for you. You know, we got some signings. We got Mbuemo done. We got Cunha. But as we all know, Manchester United is quite possibly the most broke club in the Premier League. And we needed some people to leave. We needed some people to get out of here. And with all due respect to Marcus Rashford, it was his time to go. You know, he, in my eyes, I don't want to call him a legend, but he was certainly an iconic figure for this era of Manchester United. You know, prophesized as being the young lad who would take us to, you know, the top of the Prem, to the Champions League, and due to various circumstances, including his own lack of talents in some moments, it did not happen. But he was a bit of a figurehead for the youth and for what the academy could produce. And so he has officially transferred to Barcelona on loan with the option to buy. So far from his friendly matches with Barca, I haven't seen much to impress me or to impress the Barca fans, but I wish him all the best. I really do. It would be honestly really cool to see him over time, like if he does well this season and if he's able to stay on longer and have a real role there. That'd be really cool to see. I mean, he's only the second British player, I believe, to play for Barcelona as well. After I'm blanking on his name, Dre, you might know.
What position?
God, Lineker.
Is it really? Oh, Gary Lineker. Okay, yeah.
Yes, Gary Lineker. And yeah, for me, I think this works out for Barca as well. I mean, they needed some more. I believe he's playing on the left wing. I could be, from the clips I saw, I believe he was on the left wing. And so I think they just need more manpower back there, you know, substitutes, you know, have a nice rotation for the team. So I'm happy for Rashford. Hopefully he does well there. Yeah, do you guys have any thoughts on this transfer? What maybe it means symbolically? You know, if it has more meaning symbolically than it has literally, I don't know.
No, it is interesting seeing him go to Barcelona. I just, there's a few conversations I want to have about it. None too crazy, but one is that a lot of people. Okay, let's talk purely from a footballing perspective. I do think it is a good fit. I do think he's never lived up to be the talent I think a lot of people thought he could be. But I think that still doesn't mean he's not. He doesn't have the potential to be one of the, at least a good, like a really good solid winger / forward in Europe. I don't think he's ever going to reach that top level, and that's fine. Not every player does. But I think if you're going to a team like Barcelona under a coach like Flick, who gets the most, like, to be fair, Rafinha before this last season, no one saw Rafinha as one of these top forwards in the world. He was at Leeds before, and he went to Barcelona. He was solid. He wasn't anything crazy. And
like
Flick
Rashford a couple seasons ago.
Like
he had that one season with Ollie.
Yeah, Rashford. Yeah, he's hot and cold. He even had a good season under Ten Hag, to be fair.
True.
But Flick, I think, is a coach that could really unlock him, especially the way Barcelona plays. But the key is he really has to get Rashford to buy in to being a hard worker. Because, not saying he's not, but Barcelona presses crazy. And Rashford's going to have to buy into that press. He can't be the guy who's just walking off. All those front line, you could say
we saw in the friendly already. He was jogging to the defenders. He wasn't running there.
Exactly.
So even, you know, he's got the old habits. It's like, you know, can you really teach an old dog new tricks? He's not an old dog yet, but he's acting like it.
He's almost there. But I think that's Barcelona's going to hope over the course of the season. Can we get him to buy in? Is he going to be worth? And we should specify it is a loan, and it's an option to buy. So
yep,
he could end up going back to United at the next summer. But we're going to hope, and I'm sure United fans are going to hope, and Barcelona fans, if it works out for everyone, that they can get him to buy in. He's successful, and Barcelona will take him on full time. I think really in that system, especially because he doesn't have to be the main man. I think United, there was too much pressure on him to be like the main goal scorer, especially because your strikers end up working out. They were like, we need Rashford to be that guy, like Bruno creatively and Rashford goal scoring wise. At Barcelona, you're like the third, fourth option. Fourth, fifth option. An attack. Obviously, Yamal, Rafinha starting, Lewandowski up top. Lewandowski is on the older side, but now Rashford could come in for Rafinha. He can come in for Lewandowski up top. But even before him, Ferran Torres was doing a great job backing up Lewandowski last year as a striker. I don't know. He might be trying to leave, so I don't know how that's going to work out. Maybe Rashford replacing him in the long run, but I do think he has an opportunity. If we see Rashford pop up with 10, 15 goals across competitions just coming off the bench next year, that'll be a successful season, I think, for him, at least to get back on track. Because I think because this is such a pivotal season for a lot of players, and I'm going to talk about a certain group of players in a second, going into the World Cup, all these players really want to be able to put on a show, put on a showcase for their respective managers, and for England, Thomas Tuchel. Rashford's going to want to go to the World Cup. He's only 27. He's going to think, okay, I have this competition in me. I can do one more run, because he's been ousted from the England team for years now. He's going to want to think, I can prove myself that I can get back in the squad for this World Cup, because it's probably his last World Cup. England has so much wide talent, but specifically on the left, there is a bit of a gap. Like, there's some coming through, like Gittins and others, but really on the left, Rashford's going to be like, why can't I start there? Especially because with the Euros, England were just such an unbalanced team. Rashford could have opened up that left side. Maybe Anthony Gordon will still get ahead of him. But I think this is such a big year. And I think I want to transition that into another conversation where I see a lot of fans, a lot of United fans too, saying he doesn't deserve the move to Barcelona. That's been a big narrative online. Like, Rashford doesn't deserve it. Why does he get to go to Barcelona? And I just never understood that. Like,
since when are players deserving of
how do you determine
deserving
moves other than the team wants them? So you deserve it. Like, if the team's willing to buy you or loan you or whatever, then I think inherently you deserve that move.
I also don't get why United fans would be hostile towards Rashford, given he's always been even though he was ousted, he did not react like other players have, like Garnacho or like Sancho, throwing a fit, being a freedom fighter, whatever. Nah, this dude put his head down and got to work, did his thing with Aston Villa for the season. And it's always been respect. And he's even said publicly, he has nothing against Man United. It's a difficult time. And it's like, I acknowledge what he's done for the club too. The moments he's given, the memories he's given. Like, it's not like this dude fumbled anything. I would say it's kind of exactly that. At United, he had a pressure put on him externally. Like, we all had this idea, like how I introed, like that he was going to be a top academy player who would help lead us to a new age. Like, that was thrown onto him. He wasn't saying any of that. He wasn't acting like that. So I think this idea of him not deserving a move to Barca, I don't know. That's just some weird fan base shit. Like a minority of the fan base. I think most people are happy for him, and this quite literally is the best option.
Literally,
he's getting the new start he needs, a new challenge, a great challenge on a great team, and we are getting some funds and some space to, give Ruben Amorim the resources he needs to really build his team and not have to just use the pieces that have been cobbled together for years.
Exactly. And I think United being one of the worst selling teams in Europe, honestly, these days, you're going to want this to go well. If you're a United fan, you're going to want him to go crazy at Barcelona. Next summer, Barcelona's like, we have to exercise this option. We take him, spend however much on him, and United whatever it is going to be profit because he's an academy player. So you're going to want that. That's going to be amazing for United's books. And even if he does well at Barcelona, you shouldn't even want him back at United. That has proven to be a toxic situation, even if there's mutual respect there. There's just so much with the English media and all that
big part of it.
You should want, okay, we get the money for Rashford, like an actual transfer fee. He goes to Barcelona, that goes well. We get the money, we can rebuild the squad. It should really be a win-win in the end. Eric, I want to hear what you have to say if you have any thoughts on it first, because I do want to get into some players you slightly mentioned there, Alexi.
Yeah.
For sure, man. I mean, you guys have said a lot, but I think when I see this transfer, it really is a no-brainer. Like you have Man U, as you guys mentioned, who's trying to free up just some money, and so you get him out, that you get him out of the club, and now the club that's bringing him in, as you guys mentioned, needs that flexibility, needs that depth on the attack. You mentioned that Lewandowski's getting up there, man. So he's offered so much to the club, but it'd be interesting. You have someone who's 10 years younger, potentially entering their prime, who can potentially be part of your future. So I think, just personally, it was nice to see the signing. This actually got me excited. Like I'm like, man, as I've said before, it can be hard for me to like stay in touch with like soccer news, but this is one of those headlines that makes me excited, and it's a signing for an exciting team that has high hopes, that has already a high ceiling, and now you've just added a reliable backup option. And I think when you look at it from Rashford's perspective, he should be excited and should be driven to prove himself and to potentially carve out a new home for himself, to create this like new path on this fresh start. Yes, I mean, being a backup option, he knows he's going to be the backup option. I think he may not want that to be the case, but the reality is he is going to be the backup. There's no chance that he starts over Yamal or Rafinha, and no chance I would even say that he, like you guys said, like Lewandowski is going to be up there. Like he may not even clear Lewandowski in that sense. So who even knows how much playing time he gets? I am really interested to see just how much we see him. But he's definitely a force, especially if he's only coming on for maybe 15 minutes, like in a high profile match. Like, I think it's a no-brainer. I'm happy to see it, and it's obviously a very low risk move from Barcelona. So I'm happy to see it. I'm excited to see what happens. And yeah, I'm rooting for all sides here. And yeah, am I biased? Of course, but I'm rooting for all sides. So you have that.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, and for Barcelona, like you say, low risk. Another club that's in financial trouble. So I think for these two clubs to be working together, Barcelona needs players they can take on loan, because they can't be spending crazy money on anyone. And United needs to get rid of players that they can't get crazy fees for. So it really is like a match made in heaven in that sense. And even more from, like you say, coming on the last 10, 15 minutes, even if Rashford's not a player who's going to press the whole game, if you can get him to buy in, like, or we're going to bring you on and you can continue the press with fresh legs for the last 10, 15 minutes, that's massive. And he also gives Barcelona a different dynamic, which I thought they missed against like Inter, for example, where they ended up going out there. Both Yamal and Rafinha both want to get ball to feet. They want to like drop deep, take and go beat players and drive on. Rashford can just run. Like Rashford would just run and hope for a ball over the top or some kind of ball through. That really stretches the back line and changes the dynamic of Barcelona. So I think it'll be fun to watch. We could be looking. I know it's super early. It's still July, so it could be crazy to say, but we could be looking at Rashford as a potential Champions League winner in a year's time. That would be crazy. And who would have thought you'd ever put that by his name, coming from Manchester United, who's the worst Manchester United in history, pretty much, Premier League history at least.